Orange wheat. Oh, Coronato's always good. A little half dome strawberry. A little peach. Okay. There's 2 peaches. I'll do one. I'll do one in the world. You don't want one?
No, I'm good.
You want me to shut up while you do your
It's fine. What's up, you guys? Today we're in Aaron's shop working on his 2006 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, or Jeep Wrangler LJ. He's over in the corner fishing beers out of the fridge, so if you hear some extra noises, that's what it is. I know you've seen this vehicle on our Moab EGS prep series, but I actually want to do a bit of a deeper dive today. We've hit kind of a speed bump the last few weeks, specifically with the installation of his rear axle, which is a Currie Dana 60. However, I think we finally problem solved some of the issues that we have been running into. So today I'm going to talk about that on this video, and hopefully this thing is pretty close to being wrapped up and road ready once again. So before we started swapping out Aaron's front and rear factory axles, he had already installed a Metalcloak Game Changer 3.5-inch suspension kit with their 6-pack shocks. If you're not familiar with Metalcloak 6-pack shocks, they're kind of a proprietary design. They utilize a really large rectangular shock body and 2 shock shafts. In comparison to a standard monotube shock, Metalcloak's able to squeeze more travel out of these, and in the case of Aaron's lift, we're able to squeeze a 12-inch travel 6-pack shock, where normally you would only be able to fit a 10-inch stroke shock. Now, as you could imagine, Aaron's pretty adamant about keeping these shocks. Even when you install these on a factory rear axle, Metacloak includes new standoff shock, lower shock brackets that push the lower mounting point of the shock further away from the axle housing. So on top of all that, Aaron decided to install this Currie anti-rock rear sway bar, which requires additional space specifically to weld on these sway bar end-link mounting tabs, which you can see here. So the installation of that Currie anti-rock is now eating into our shock installation space, and the problem we've been running into is finding an aftermarket prefab shock bracket that will give us enough standoff from the new rear axle that the shock will be able to cycle without, of course, impacting the gas tank or hitting the lower coil spring mount on the axle itself. We've tried a couple brackets so far. None of them worked until we found these. These are large shock mounting brackets manufactured by Midnight 4x4 out of Salt Lake City, Utah. As you can see, the shock mounting bolt on these brackets is offset from the center line of the axle tube, which helps gives us some of the standoff space or the clearance that we need. Now, we still did have to cut about 4 inches off the top of these brackets and then re-cope the remaining piece just to hit our targeted up travel or shock compression and shock extension numbers. Again, we were shooting for about 40% compression travel and about 60% extension travel. With our modified brackets mocked up into place and tacked on, we were able to pull the rear axle out from under the Jeep, as it's pretty much ready for final welding at this point. Final welding and, of course, paint. And if you're curious about the next steps in the build out of Aaron's Jeep, once we get this rear axle reinstalled, he'll have 4 88 gears and ARB lockers front and rear. Again, a high pinion 44 and a 60 in the back. He's already purchased these Method B grips, 17x9. I don't remember the model number off the top of my head, but he had some BF Goodrich KO3s mounted to these wheels in a 35x1250 R17. Some people might debate whether or not a 35-inch tire is the right size for a Dana 60 or whether or not Aaron should go bigger. I would add that the ground clearance on this Currie Dana 60 is pretty darn good. And on top of that, Aaron's trying to leave the door open for installation of the advanced adapter Rubicrawler box. Those Rubicrawler boxes offer a pretty substantial gearing reduction upstream of the axle, so even on a 35-inch tire, at least if it was my build, I would want the peace of mind of having a 60 in the rear. So I think Aaron's rig is going to be pretty well set up in the event that decides to go that route and install the Rubicrawler. So if you want to stay up to date on the build out of Aaron's 2006 Jeep LJ, do us a favor and think about hitting that subscribe button below. If you're not already a subscriber, it really helps us out. Thanks for watching Trash Panda Garage. Until the next time, get out there, build something.
You want to do the bear?
Not yet.